If your heat transfer vinyl isn't sticking properly to your garments, we're going to go over a few reasons why this might be happening to you, so by the end of this video, you know what you need to do to get the best results. Let's get right into it. You might have bad quality heat transfer vinyl. If you buy cheap heat transfer vinyl, you're going to get cheap results. If you're buying random vinyl on Amazon, you're going to come across a lot of problems. Let me tell you my experiences. I've had vinyl that falls off right after pressing it, right after washing it, right after a few wears, and honestly, it's embarrassing, especially if you want your customers to return to you. Because if that ends up happening to them while they're wearing it, I promise you lost them as a customer. I've even gotten vinyl that smells completely like dead fish. Don't ask me how that happened. If that's happened to you, let me know down below in the comment section, because that was just funky. But in general, not all heat transfer vinyl is created equally. And if you're just buying whatever, I promise you the results are going to be inconsistent. So it's up to you to do your homework and do the proper research, so that way you're buying vinyl from a company that actually cares about you getting customers to return back to you. Not having enough pressure when you're heat pressing. When I was looking into buying a heat press, I went for a clamshell style, mainly because I was able to adjust the heat press with the knob. This is really important to make sure that the heat is getting distributed evenly throughout all of the vinyl. If you're using something like an iron or one of those Cricut Easy presses where you have to actually push it down, you have to really make sure you're using some good strength and some good pressure to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Because if you're doing it with an iron, because don't worry, I started with an iron, then you just have to make sure you're really taking your time and really applying pressure throughout the whole design, which can definitely take a few minutes, but it's something that you have to do to make sure it doesn't fall off. So if you're trying to go from an iron to either a Cricut or a clamshell style heat press, I would say don't buy the Cricut heat press. Just make that jump, save a little extra money, and buy a heat press, especially one that you can clamp all the way down and lock in. Not having enough heat. If your heat is not high enough, it's not going to adhere properly, and then it's going to end up falling off. All vinyl brands are different, so you have to make sure you follow all the instructions and you're reading the instructions. For the recipe heat transfer vinyl, almost all of our products only require 300 degrees Fahrenheit to be pressed. Like I said, other brands are different, so if you didn't buy vinyl from the recipe, make sure you're doing your own proper research to ensure that you are getting the best results with whatever brand you bought. Next is not heat pressing it for long enough. For the recipe heat transfer vinyl, we require 10 seconds to make sure that the heat transfer vinyl adheres properly. What's dope about having high quality heat transfer vinyl is that you can press it for extra time and you won't have to worry about the vinyl burning. But if you're using cheap vinyl and you press it for too long, it's going to end up burning and you're going to get the ugliest results. So that is another reason why you should be buying quality heat transfer vinyl. Next is not pre-pressing your garment. You may not realize it, but there's a lot of moisture locked in the shirt, and it's mainly from the shipping process. A lot of this stuff came from overseas, and you got to imagine it collected a lot of moisture through the humidity from the places that it traveled to. So when you get your garment, it's going to have some moisture in it. That's why you got to pre-press it for a few seconds. I usually like to do 10 seconds to make sure all that moisture gets locked out. Because if you don't, that moisture could potentially seep right through the glue and your vinyl won't adhere properly sometimes. If you have high quality heat transfer vinyl, you sometimes don't have to really worry about this. But overall, you should always be taking this precaution and make sure you always pre-press your garment for a few seconds before applying your heat transfer vinyl. The next reason is you might have cold peel vinyl. So what that means is if you have cold peel vinyl and you try to peel the heat transfer vinyl immediately after pressing it, you're probably going to take the vinyl off of the garment. So with cold peel, you have to wait about 45 seconds to 2 minutes before peeling. Every heat transfer vinyl brand is different, so make sure you're checking in with whatever brand you're using to make sure you know if you have a cold peel or a hot peel or sometimes even a warm peel. Another thing that I experienced when I first got into this whole heat press and heat transfer vinyl game was I ended up buying the wrong vinyl. I ended up buying adhesive permanent vinyl rather than heat transfer vinyl, so when I tried pressing it, it wasn't sticking, and at the beginning, this was a couple years ago, I didn't know why. Come to find out from making a couple phone calls, I had bought the adhesive vinyl. So I was able to actually go out and buy the regular vinyl that I actually needed, which was the heat transfer vinyl. So if you're a beginner, make sure you're buying the right vinyl. You need heat transfer vinyl, not regular premium or permanent vinyl. If If you made it to the end of this video, make sure you hit that subscribe. I'm always dropping videos, making sure I help you through your heat press and heat transfer vinyl journey. And if you want to get access to any of the stuff that was used in this video, equipment-wise, it's all going to be linked down below, as well as the heat transfer vinyl that I use across all of my platforms that always has my customers running back. This is my company of heat transfer vinyl, so if you end up buying some of the vinyl and you need help for the application process, you always have me available to you, so that way I can make sure your investment is worth it and you're always getting the best results. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you next video.